Hello everyone! In this short tutorial I show you how you can calculate a mean, standard deviation and an interval with a rolling lookback window in Pandas DataFrame in Python. For that we import the packages Pandas and NumPy, and then to illustrate that I just create here a simple data frame just called df1. When we run that cell, then we just get the df1 with 4 columns and 7 rows. And when we want to look at the statistics of the data frame, then we can just use the describe function, and here we already have the mean, the standard deviation, and so on. But as you know, here the mean of 2.85 is the mean over all the values here in column 1, and the same thing is also for all the other statistics. So what we try to do now is to create a rolling mean, which means that we want for each row a new rolling mean of the previous 5 rows. So as you can see here, when I just use rolling with a window of 5 dot mean, then we just calculate the mean with a rolling window. Here we get a mean of 3, which is the mean of the first 5 rows. So we just have 1, 1, 3, 4, and 6, and when we take the mean of that, then we get a 3. And the same thing just applies for the other columns. So we have here always the mean with a rolling window of 5. With exactly the same methodology, we can just create a rolling standard deviation, and we just use the std function here. And as you can see, we also have the standard deviations for each row specifically with a lookback window of 5. At the same time, we can also create an upper boundary, which is just defined as the mean plus, for example, 2 standard deviations. So we just define this data frame 4 as the data frame 2, which is the mean plus 2 times the standard deviation, and then we get an upper boundary, for example here, as 7.24. Then we can do the same thing with a lower boundary, and the only thing we change here is a minus, so we go from the mean 2 standard deviations down, and then we define df5, and as you can see here, this would be the lower boundary for this specific column with a lookback window of 5. And then we can combine those 2 data frames, just subtract from the upper boundary the lower boundary, and with that we can create the width of this interval between the lower and the upper boundary, which is just the range between the mean and plus minus 2 standard deviations higher and lower. And then we see here this range of the interval would be for column 1 8.48, and then it decreases to 7.69, and then it further decreases to 6.066. So as you can see here, the spread of the interval decreases, which also means that the standard deviation decreased here as well. And we can just check that up here, and here with the rolling standard deviation it also decreases in this case. In the column 2 we see a constant standard deviation, and when we go and look down here, we also have the same interval length. If it also helped for your calculation with a rolling lookback window in Pandas data frame, please subscribe and leave a like. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.